You have now arrived at Stadium and Gale.
The kick, it's been blocked again! Oh my! It's been blocked again! It's gonna heave one deep down the field. It's gonna be to the goal line. It's gonna be gone! It's a touchdown! And the Gators have won the game! Tyree Cleveland! Oh my! I can't believe what I just saw! Dropping back to throw, pops and fires the ball over the middle. It's Dory! It's Dory! Got a touchdown! Dory got a touchdown! Oh man! Dory's got a touchdown!
Ahmad Black, in his final game as a Gator, takes it all the way home and sends Urban out a winner.
You have now arrived at Stadium and Gale.
Boys and girls, ladies and gents, welcome to another episode of Stadium and Gale. It's your favorite Uncle Silk.
It's Dan.
And Delatorre.
Great morning. We're recording on a Monday morning. Dan's on a little vacay, still on that bender, so we getting this thing done. I don't mind this Monday morning. How y'all boys feeling?
Good. This isn't a bender trip. Going up to the mountains, stayed with my buddy Ross up here in Atlanta. One of my best friends, so hanging out with him today, heading up to North Carolina. So no bender activities this week. Allegedly. We'll see what we get ourselves into. You never know. You get some moonshine and some mountain men. Who knows, you know?
Some Appalachian moonshine made in an actual bathtub.
That's right. That's what I'm going to seek out, Nick. Nick, how was the cocktail party? I mean, obviously, game aside, how was the weather? How was the crowd? All that kind of stuff.
The weather was elite. Florida gave me a parking ticket.
Nice.
A parking pass.
That was a ticket.
Which was like a mile and a half away from the stadium.
Very good.
So I appreciated the I appreciated the weather as I had a long walk at 10 a.m. to the stadium, and then a long walk back at 11:30.
A little cardio.
So yeah, got a little cardio in. It's hectic walking around that stadium after the game, especially when you haven't been partaking in cocktail party festivities like everyone else around you.
For sure.
So I'm sober and alert, and probably the only one left in Duval that is.
The best thing about leaving the stadium and dealing with the shenanigans after the game and being a reporter is you don't have on any Gator gear.
Right.
So no harassment by the Georgia Bulldogs of slander and whatnot. You just got to go do a peaceful walk in your black uniform, right?
See, I thought you were going to say, Silk, that the best part about leaving the game was the chance to leave Jacksonville, but I missed the joke.
Oh, okay.
There he is. Damn.
Back at it again.
Top rope. Damn, Daniel. So that was it was an interesting walk. There was a Joker and a Harley Quinn that were in a fight.
Nice. Who won?
As I was on my way to the stadium, it might have been the real Joker, the way he was talking. So interesting walk back to the car.
Was he funny?
It was not funny. No.
Okay.
How was the crowd, Nick? The Gators obviously go in that game 4-3, 2 touchdown underdogs. How was the crowd? How were the Gator fans?
Yeah, Florida. So it's Jacksonville at TIAA Bank. The press box is closed. So I've always said the worst place to watch Florida Georgia is the press box because of the way the stadium is split. It's half and half. It never really gets loud enough that we feel like we're at a football game. There'll be times where all you hear is keys clicking because it's quiet in the press box. But Florida's fans were on our sideline, so at times it got loud. Obviously, it was not loud in the second half. But a good crowd. I got to go see my buddy Travis as I was walking in. Stopped by him and his dad. They were tailgating. Got to see them for a little while, and then to work. So it's a work day for me. I haven't had a chance to experience the cocktail party like a fan would.
Well, one of these days, Nick, if you're off the beat, we'll Silk and I'll take you there, and we'll have an elite time.
I'll let you know when I want to get fired.
Well, I assume that if you're at the cocktail party, you've already been fired, you know?
Safe assumption.
Oh, man. Well, let's get Halloween. Yesterday was Halloween. Silk, did you do any dress up with you and the family?
No dress up. I participated Saturday night African themed masquerade party at the Kush House. So I dressed up, but the kids wasn't feeling festive. They did some school stuff. So they had character day.
Mm-hmm.
My son dressed up as Luffy. That was pretty dope. My daughter didn't really get into it this year. She's in high school, so she's getting too cool for school on a lot of stuff. But nothing yesterday. Just vibed and chilled. No trick-or-treaters knocked on my door. Seen a few on the road here and there, but Halloween's not the same. What about yours? Did you dress up?
I did. So we did like the company I work for. We're big into like dress up days and stuff like that, kind of culture stuff. And we did the Halloween dress up. So we did like the whole office. I run an office of about 30 folks. We did Nightmare Before Christmas. So everybody was a different character. I was the Jack Skellington Santa guy. Santa Claus, I think is his name. So I did that on Thursday with some office shenanigans. And then Saturday night, a friend of mine's birthday was at Ybor on Saturday night. So, Ybor gets a little wild, gets a little crazy. You never know what you're going to get. So I dressed up as one of those like plague doctors from back in the day. I had a different costume, but didn't quite work out for being out for like 7 or 8 hours. One of those like inflatable costume things. So I was like, man,
yeah, that's the one you showed us. What happened to that
I can't be at Ybor for 7-8 hours. We realized, so we had to pull a last second audible. But so we're gonna save that costume for another day.
If another day, you mean next year?
Or just a random Tuesday in like September, who knows?
Yeah, Dan looked like he was going to like an Eyes Wide Shut party. I saw a picture on Instagram of his costume. Looked like he was with like Tom Cruise and Nicole Kidman as an extra on set.
Yeah, I can see that. I got some BDSM questions. I got all sorts of things, So
there you go. I was keeping it PG.
Man, oh man. So, all right, boys, let's get into the show. Before I do that, still give a shout out to our friend Greg Brunt and Brunt Insurance.
Stadium Miguel is brought to you by the great folks at Brunt Insurance and Financial Services. Anything you need insured from the Panhandle to the Keys, be sure to visit bruntinsurance.com and give my man Greg a call at 954-589-2204. Big coverage, big policies, anything you may need insured that has wheels on it, your life on it, or your house on it. My man Greg can take care of it. bruntinsurance.com, big coverage.
I love it. So Gators do lose to number 1 ranked Georgia Bulldogs 34-7. Gators down 3-0 with just 2 minutes and 3 seconds left in the first half. Rashard Torrance, imagine this, has just intercepted the ball. Gators get the ball at the 1 yard line, and then
like you had this way where we need a house. Like my bad, Dan. Sorry. Shit.
No, you're good. So imagine this: Gators get the ball, 2 minutes, 3 seconds. Rashard Torrance intercepts it. Gators then have a turnover and then get the ball back and have another turnover. Gators end up giving Georgia 21 points, in the last few minutes of the game. That proves to be the dagger. Gators do score. In the last few minutes of the game, Emory Jones leads the Gators down to a touchdown to keep their 419 game streak going of scoring a point in a game. But all in all, Gators do lose 34-7 in a game that Gators defense seemingly played pretty well. But all in all, we look back and we expected Georgia to win, and Georgia wins, and Georgia wins big on the back of a fantastic defense. So, Nick, give us your thoughts from the press box.
I jinxed that heavy. Can't blame Torrance really there. I think he caught the ball like around the 2. Momentum carries you in. And I'm sitting in the press box thinking, well, he had to come back out. And I was corrected saying no because his momentum carried him in. It would have been a touchback. I was thinking because he caught it on the 2 and then went in, it would have been a safety. He's thinking the same thing in the moment. So, if he just goes down, then you're on the 20 and maybe things change. But I jinxed that big time. I said, like, you got the ball 2:16. I know it's on the 2, but if you can use these 3 timeouts, get down there, get 3 points, you get the ball back to start the third, and it's a whole different game.
Yeah.
2 minutes later, the game was over, essentially.
Yeah, I mean, even if you get the missed field goal, which is another like head scratcher, we don't have a kicker that can make decent field goals. That should just never happen, right? We should have a guy that can make field goals. That's cost us the Bama game. And it's also just kept costing us points. It's just basic stuff. Who knows what it cost us in these last 4 games, but we need a kicker. So it should have been 3-3 at that point, us getting the ball and going back down. But I'm with you guys. The game all changed those last 2 minutes. That fumble, script, what have you. I thought the whistle was blown, but I also wasn't locked in on the TV like that. I was kind of moving around and working in the building at the time. But I thought like the way the ref was walking up to the line, like it was blown dead. So that turned into a turnover. I thought the defense played well enough in the first half for us to be in it. Clearly, it was 3-0, 0-0 for the most of the half. We just couldn't get any points, and the Georgia defense is very stingy.
Yeah. Yeah.
They really make you earn like everything. The first half, I thought every yard Florida got, they had to earn. We'll probably get into play calling later because I don't think it was super inspired with Anthony in the game, but Georgia's defense was, as good as advertised, I think, in my mind. And quick shout out, make sure it's early. I was joking like hashtag pray for Kingsley. Kingsley had a great game, and you had to play without Ethan White. So shout out to Kingsley because that's Jordan Davis is a man and a half, and he lines up right on top. I mean, you can smell what Kingsley can smell what Jordan Davis had for breakfast. That he's lining up right on top of him.
Yeah, no, Nick, you're right. And we will obviously break down, play calling a little bit more here. Obviously, it is Anthony Richardson's first game as a starter for the Florida Gators. But just to close it out, the Gators do, they get the ball with on the 2-yard line with a chance to at least move the ball, maybe get a first down or 2. I did think that the back-to-back runs were interesting, especially considering that, Damien Pierce, quarterback runs, Damien Pierce is there, and there's the chance to break, maybe not one open, but definitely, a guy that you should be relying on a little bit more. I understand the rule. I did think that if you're carrying a ball carrier forward, that in my opinion has stopped forward progress. I thought that Anthony Richardson's, feet had stopped moving on his own where he was getting carried and the ball got punched out. But then you go and throw an interception, then you go throw a pick 6, all in the course of, 10 actual life minutes. There's no real coming back from that. Again, shout out to Georgia's defense. They were playing stout all the way through the end of the game. It just seemed like they had, an incredible amount of endurance, an incredible amount of heart and hustle throughout the entire game. So a tough loss. A loss that I think everybody expected. I don't know if it was in the manner that everybody expected, but I think if you take out those couple minutes, which obviously you can't, but if you could, I thought the Gators defense played pretty well against Georgia, causing 2 interceptions. They didn't really move the ball all that well, all things considered, with the talent that they have on offense. And in Dan Mullen's opinion, they won most yards of possession in the game, or most yards of offense in the game. So I guess let's get into a little bit about, the game itself with Anthony Richardson and the play calling. Again, Anthony Richardson does get his first start in the game, ends up going 12 for 20 for 82 yards, 2 interceptions. Those were both at the end there of the second quarter. Emory Jones, does come in later after an Anthony Jones injury. And Nick, I don't think we have an update on that yet, do we?
No, I'm guessing it's a concussion. Since we're doing this early in the morning, I was gonna say since we're doing this early in the morning, we haven't talked to Dan Mullen as if Dan's going to be forthright and honest about an injury. No reason to be. I'm not, not trying to take a shot at him.
Right.
But I mean, Anthony Richardson got hit right in the ear hole.
Right.
And tried to come off the field before going down quickly. Went in the injury tent and then straight into when something like that happens. I'm like, as a reporter, I'm not even watching the game anymore, and you can't see it if you're watching on TV because you're not going to follow him. Like I've got binoculars and I'm just like watching. I'm on Anthony Richardson watch. So he went from the tent straight into the locker room and never came back out of the locker room. So and you always look for in a concussion, is the player holding his helmet? Does one of the trainers have the helmet? So when he walks off the field, the trainer's holding his helmet, and that's for me a sign of concussion at either level, whether it's college or NFL. So that'll be interesting to see. Obviously, you have a whole set of protocols to go through to be able to get back on the practice field. So that'll be something to monitor all week before Florida heads up to Columbia.
Yeah. So I know that you mentioned you wanted to talk about it too. Give us your thoughts on play calling in general with Anthony Richardson.
I mean, I just thought the first half, I seen two, and the announcer said the same thing, 2 design runs from Anthony Richardson. He's not a guy you could drop back and pass the ball. I don't understand. Dan Mullen's offense has never been that. I just don't see a Dan Mullen offense. Like the offense he ran with Tebow or Dak or anybody else that was run first, play action, a lot of reaction stuff. Like somebody was saying maybe he thought Georgia was going to stop that anyway. Like, bro, you got to do what you do. If that's that's how you call plays, that's how you've made your living doing things a certain way. All of a sudden, like we don't see the quarterback dives like we normally saw. Like, and the play action's all for that stuff, the read action, the quarterback design keepers. We're not seeing any of that. You coming out like after like Georgia goes down to score, 2-minute warning, you dropping this kid back to dissect the Georgia defense led by Kirby Smart and Will Muschamp, two of the best defensive coordinators of our generation in college football. Like that's like an unrealistic task. We should have been run heavy regardless this season. That's what we all expected, a run first team. So I just don't understand like our whole game plan the entire 2021 season, not just Saturday versus Georgia. I don't think we have been prepared any game that we went into.
Yeah, I don't understand. Anthony Richardson, on the year was able to, open the field a little bit more. We didn't really see any throws really beyond 20 yards. We saw 2 total. Both of them were incomplete. I didn't see much of a game plan. Like you said, Silk, I didn't see a lot of designed runs. I didn't see a lot of RPO. I didn't see a lot of, trying to get the ball in space to players. Right. I didn't see, him throwing the ball, the way that he'd been throwing the ball. Now, I know Georgia's defense is very different than LSU and USF and, Vanderbilt and teams that he's played before, but still, I didn't see really.
You see a lot of motions
anything.
and stuff?
No, I didn't
see anything. I don't see anything that like trick a defense, bro.
I didn't see anything. And it bad became worse, under pressure, Anthony Richardson's obviously young. He's a redshirt freshman. He's a guy that, when he came to UF, had a lot of work to do, passing the ball, obviously a good player, out of high school, but, still was working on passing the ball. And I think that we've seen that when he is kept clean, he can throw the ball well. And I thought the offensive line did a pretty good job. Again, your biggest issues are still on the right side of the line. I thought that he did pretty well when he's kept clean. I still think that he makes a lot of I don't think that he does well under pressure. I think he was only 1 for 5 under pressure, but no part of the game plan really made sense because I didn't see a game plan. I didn't see what they were trying to do. I didn't see them try to run multiple plays, in different, ways to try to then open up something, deeper or longer. I just saw a lot of short ticky tack, type of passes that, the Gators weren't able to ever capitalize on. And, Georgia basically stayed in the whole same defense, the whole time. I think they only had 1 blitz in the entire game. So forced, Anthony Richardson to make passes and, it didn't work.
Yeah. It was like to feed off of something Silk said, like he's just not ready to be to be that kind of passer yet. So I think you need to know that and probably come up with some different plans. I mean, there were some times where several times where Florida's 5 wide and just like putting him back there to throw the ball. I think they early on in the second half they came out and they started running him a little bit more on some design things, but you probably should have had that and needed to have that, earlier in the game. Florida's defense came out early and got the job done. I mean, you got 2 punts, I think, or no, Georgia had that really long drive to start the game, or not long, but 8.
Missed the field goal.
But then punt, and field goal. So I mean, Florida's defense really, started with the missed field goal in the first drive, forced a punt, gave up a field goal, and then got an interception.
Mm-hmm.
And then you get, the fumble and the interception and then interception. And things are, done by then. Now you're playing a whole different game.
I think that, in my opinion, this is the best the defense has played all season.
In the first half of the Georgia
I thought
game?
they started off really well. Sarcastically tweeted that Todd Grantham was earning his contract extension. People did not.
I'm sure your mentions were clean and pure.
That was not read as sarcasm.
Yeah, I think one of my biggest takes and just like my thoughts of the weekend was it just all go if this season goes well, Emory plays well, Anthony Richardson looks good when he comes in to spell Emory, then McGee looks like a good hire, right?
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't look like a lazy hire. Now that Brian Johnson is left, that McGee hire, so somebody that's already on staff, it looks like a lazy hire from Dan Mullen right now.
Mm-hmm.
No slight on McGee.
Yeah,
but just like my quarterbacks being prepared, watching their development, and Brian Johnson also helped with some play calling and preparation as well. Right now, that's just looking like another Dan Mullen lazy hire.
Yeah.
And the same thing I'm gonna say right now for Jules. I think Dan Mullen's just making lazy hires right now, and I think he's checked out. So we can't dissect this game forever, right? This game,
right,
we was dominated. From a talent standpoint, we see what it is. So we pretty much our conversation is going to be, where's this program go next? Like how do we fix recruiting? How do we get some studs on this field? How do we get a defensive coordinator that could actually give us a chance to win football games on a regular basis? Like, what's our next hire and what's our next moves to fix this thing? I think we got some hires to make in the recruiting department as well. That's kind of stagnant.
Yeah, let's close out. So you make a great point there. I do want to just close out this game real quick before we get into that, because I think that
my bad.
No. I think that leads into a much better discussion that we can have here in a minute. I do want to give some shout outs. I thought Rashard Torrance has played very well this season. Obviously ends up with 2 interceptions. One great interception and one that was a bit of an arm punt, but still there to make the interception. I thought that Gervon Dexter, played quite well in the game, and I think all in all, Georgia was the substantially more talented team from a recruiting rankings perspective, a coaching perspective. But I thought the guys played really well. In spurts, and it just, it's tough to hold the line forever. So shout out to them. I do want to give Damien Pierce a shout out too. I thought that when he had an opportunity to run the ball, he ran really well. Only 9 carries for 69 yards. I thought that every time he got the ball, he was, chunking yards away. And, every time he seemingly had a good run, they had to replace him with somebody else. So still don't understand the running back rotation. It's something that I don't think that I'll ever understand exactly, but I thought that when Emory Jones came in as well, to spell Anthony Richardson after his injury, I thought that he played pretty well. I think that he went 10 for 14, if I remember correctly, in the game for 112 yards and the touchdown. So all in all, I thought that in spurts, they played pretty well. Nick, you shouted out Kingsley Egwukan, who played pretty well. But all in all, just a team that was overpowered, outcoached, and overmatched. Any final thoughts, Nick?
Yeah, I mean, Damien Pierce has got he's averaging more yards from per play from the line of scrimmage than I'm blanking on the guy's name, the Michigan State running back, who's being talked about the Heisman. He just doesn't get carries. I mean, in this game, I think, let me pull that up. I had it right here. Malik Davis had 6 carries. Naquan Wright had 7. Damien Pierce had 9. 9 for 69, averaging 7.7 per carry. And it's the same thing every game too. It's like I feel like every game I tweet first drive or second drive, man, Damien Pierce running like his hair's on fire. And then I look up in the third quarter and I'm like, oh, he has 4 carries. Like what? When did I have that take? Because I haven't seen him in a while. Dan, we ask him about the running back rotation, and it's always pass the buck. Hey, that's something Greg Knox handles. You ask the running backs themselves, and they're good teammates. They say our coach handles that. We go in, and we're ready to go in when we go in. But I think Damien Pierce. I think Florida's done a disservice to him. He looks the way that he looks when he's running the ball. I think he could have had an incredible senior year, and you're going to look up and he's going to have 60 carries.
That's nuts to me. That's nuts.
I think Naquan would do just as well. It's just like it's only one football. But yeah, shout out to Damien Pierce. He's looked good all year. He's going to be a good pro. His vision definitely got better this year. Overall, better runner. Last year and the years before, it wasn't as smooth as he looks this year. So he's looking a lot refined. And also, like Dan said, Rashad Torrance, great safety play from him Saturday. Wish he had better field awareness on that interception. Outside of that, I thought he played a solid football game.
Yeah. Nick, just to echo your point, Damien Pierce averaged, he didn't average. He had 49 yards of contact, or 49 yards, after contact, 5.44. Sorry, morning recording time here, 5.44 yards after contact average. In my opinion, that's probably as good as you're going to get against that Georgia defense. Nick, you mentioned Kenneth Walker, some similarities. I see it. He, like you said, though, doesn't have the opportunity to make a big impact here at Florida, and that's no slight to Malik Davis or Naquan, right? Pierce just, does what he has to do when he gets the ball. So I'm hoping for some more opportunities to get to the last 4 games of the season. So we're going to close the chapter on the Florida-Georgia game for 2021. Gators do lose 34-7, and we will see you guys at the world's largest outdoor cocktail party this time next year. But let's move on to the State of the Florida Gators program. Before we do that, let's give a shout-out to our friends over at Home Field Apparel. Visit Home Field Apparel. Use promo code StadiumandGale. Get 15% off of the finest T-shirts and finest retro gear, not only for the University of Florida, but for a lot of colleges and universities around the country. Some of the best retro gear that I've ever seen. They're going to continue to add more and more to the University of Florida's collection, but beyond that to other schools, maybe for a parent, a spouse, a loved one, a friend, or a family member. So visit homefieldapparel.com. Use promo code StadiumandGale. Get 15% off. It is about to be hoodie season, and they are going to be all over the Home Field Apparel website. So visit them out as soon as you can. So you and I talked about it right before Nick came on the show. I wanted to just talk about the overall state of the program and what do we do from here. I would imagine that we expect changes on the defensive coordinator. With that is also going to come changes at the position coaches. It's just a natural change when a new coach comes in. But wanted to talk about the state of the program. From where we're at right now, Gators have 4 games left against South Carolina, Samford, Missouri, and Florida State. But what do you want to see over these next 4 games? So,
I mean, it's a lot of questions out there. I don't know, like what's our move? I know we're getting rid of the defensive coordinator, and that whole side of the ball, in my opinion, needs to be gone. I do like David Turner, but like from a DC, whatever he wants to do, I think he needs to get like that done, whatever new DC is coming in. But I also think our biggest problem right now is recruiting.
Yep.
So we need to figure out that room. Who's in charge of what? What type of organization? What's our plan? Like the overall, what are we missing? Like, what's our philosophy? We think we can hire and hire anybody, and we can recruit anybody and win with anybody, but that's not happening. So, I think it's got to be a whole philosophy change. And if Dan, next year, I think it's going to be a hot year for him regardless. Like, he got to figure something out. That seat is going to be scorching hot next year. That's just what it is. So do we have the people in place to make a change there if he's not showing improvement next year in recruiting and also overall program? Because right now we're stagnant. I'm not going to say some people out there with some ridiculous takes or we're worse off than when Muschamp and Mack had a team. And that's just complete nonsense. Like, people got to get like emotions out of their like common sense. We're at a better state right now, like we're as a football program, but we're stagnant. And there has to be some change, big change. And I think we're behind the curve. We was ahead of the curve. We could have made some of these changes last year. That's what's sad about it. That's what's like the most upsetting part about all of this. Like, we've all known we need a new DC. We've all known the recruiting has been lacking. That has been regular complaints that has been shrugged off with arrogance. Now here we are, and now those changes are going to come whether you want it or not. So I just want to see like what's the next move. We're going to wait for Grantham contract to expire because we don't have the balls to fire people around here. But I don't know what the DC board look like or what's next. But that's the next move this year. These 4 games, man. I mean, you got to win out. You can't lose to any of these teams you got left. All these teams are terrible, including Florida State. They're all terrible teams that you should win. So you shouldn't lose a game. We should feel okay about like that, right? Winning those 4 games. But overall season, we got a lot of questions that need to be answered.
Yeah, you're not going to I'm looking at it, and probably shouldn't say this because still want people to read stories and stuff like that. But what are you going to learn about this team against, South Carolina, who's bad, Missouri, who's bad, Sanford, who's bad, and and Florida State, who's bad. Hey, shout out to Florida State almost beating Clemson. That's a different show for you, but good game against Clemson. You're not going to learn anything other than like, hey, is there a reason why Kyer Elam plays another snap for Florida? I think he can start getting ready for his NFL career right now if he wants to. I think guys like. I'll pause that real quick. You hear that?
Yeah, what's that?
I don't know what that was. It sounded like
Is it fixed?
Hold on 1 second. What the hell is that? I'm using my Bluetooth headphones. Maybe that's something with Bluetooth. All right, it's off now. Hello?
Yeah. It sounds better.
Okay. What was I even saying? What the heck was that?
Nick?
Yeah. Can you hear me? Hold on, let me just plug in.
We lose Nick.
Can you hear me now? Hello?
So
Yeah, I hear him.
we lose Nick.
No,
You can
I
hear me or you know?
I hear Nick. You don't hear Nick?
I can't
Dan?
hear. Hold on. Hello?
Yeah, can you Silk, you got me? Dan, you got me?
Yeah. I don't think Dan does. You hear me, Nick?
Yeah, I hear you, Silk.
Okay.
I can hear both of you. I can't hear Dan now.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
All right, cool. Sorry, I don't know what happened there. So you can start over your take whenever.
What was I even talking about?
You were talking about what does Kyer Elam have to play for?
Yeah.
All right, so just give me a countdown and then we'll go from there.
3, 2, 1. A guy like Kyer Elam, does he make a business decision? You got a bunch of other guys, seniors that I think, maybe not, like a Zach Carter, he's having a great year. I think he's making himself some money. But like a Jeremiah Moon, like, hey, you've already had a great year. You're not injured. You've been injured, I think 3 out of your 5-6 years at Florida. Do you shut it down? it gets a lot harder to go to practice, to wake up at 5 for film and for lifting and to do all this stuff when you're 4-4, on November 1st. And you're being asked to do, all the same things and work out and strain and give as much as you were in August when you had all these goals and aspirations of playing for a national championship, because that's all gone now.
Yeah, no, I think you're exactly right, Nick. And I don't know if any of those guys are going to make business decisions. I don't know. I mean, Kyrie Elam is obviously a potential first round draft pick. Outside of that, I don't know if there's anybody else that's like at a huge risk for really jeopardizing their draft stock, right? I mean, I think that Zach Carter, Jeremiah Moon, those guys have obviously, improved quite a bit. And I think that they're both going to get drafted, but at the end of the day, are they, do they have the ability to stop right now? And I don't think that any of them necessarily do. But Silk, I do want to go back to your philosophical point here. I think when you look at, let's just talk about recruiting, for instance, I think that Florida probably needs to make some changes in the recruiting department. And I'm not necessarily saying that they have to fire anybody in particular, but I think that they need probably more recruiters that are on the recruiting staff. I like Lee Begley as an organized person in terms of, her role in terms of what her organizational capabilities are. But I look at a guy like Charlie Skolaski. I look at, some of the other kind of administrative folks, and I compare them, to teams that have more recruiter focused type of folks in that role. I think of, Ohio State, I think of Georgia, I think of Alabama, Tennessee, even, that have folks that are recruiters in a recruiting role, not just administrative organizational oversight. So that, in my opinion, is a big change opportunity as well, because those guys are the ones communicating with these players the most.
It's probably more off-field staff and things that they can do. I would love to be back in that room when you're looking at getting, I'd love to be back in the room. Let's go back all the way to when Juwan Sider's on staff and why he's still not here. That's a guy that would get you in homes in West Palm Beach, Broward, Dade counties. The rumors about Charlie Strong, coming to coach linebackers and be co-defensive coordinator when C-Rob looked like he was going to Michigan, and what that conversation with Ty Grantham was like. He's a guy that, even though he's a little bit older, I think, his name and his reputation still carries weight down South Florida. Same thing with T-Rob when Florida was looking, before they hired Jules for a guy to coach cornerbacks and be a co-DC.
Everybody want to be comfortable, man.
T-Rob's the guy that would be relentless down there. I mean, talking to my dad on the way home, he's angry after the game, and he's just like, you don't need to even leave the state of Florida to have a great football team at the University of Florida when it comes to recruiting. Some of that's changed. Obviously, Alabama is going to get kids that they want from the state. Georgia, Clemson is, Ohio State. But I think it's true. You don't really need to leave the state all that much. Maybe go get a quarterback from somewhere else, or cherry pick some guys. But for the most part, Florida's getting beat up, and I mean, Florida's behind Purdue on our rivals rankings, and behind Florida State. I mean, Mike Norvell with a bad football team is out recruiting Dan Mullen and his coaching staff, which has gone to 3 straight New Year's Six bowls.
And it's not just, November, right? Like that's the thing that you could have said, 5-6 years ago. And National Signing Day, for the most part, it's in 6 weeks, right? There's going to be people that go on into January and February to sign, but National Signing Day for the most part is in 6 weeks, and you're ranked 35th. That's not good. I mean, you can argue all you want that there's, some crystal balls coming in and Florida's going to get some of these guys, but at the end of the day, Florida has, Nick Evers committed at quarterback, who I think is a good get. But, for a team that's put, 6 or 7 wide receivers in the NFL, they're going to whiff on Evan Stewart. They've not been able to get any of the elite guys. They've not really been able to get any elite running backs out of high school. And they definitely aren't able to get any elite, offensive linemen. And those are things that you and your staff have prided yourself on being, is this, top flight offensive, program, and you're not even getting top flight offensive players to be able to compete, against Georgia and Alabama and Ohio State, on a consistent basis. And, if you can't get offensive players to come to your program, that's an offensive heavy team, then, that's just where the problems get started. Silk, you're on mute.
But
Oh, my bad. Yeah, man, I'm with you guys. Like the off the field staff, I think is just as important as, because I just don't see any recruiting energy. I know the recruiters at Georgia. I see them on Twitter. I see them like on social media, different places, and like that shit's loud.
Yep.
We don't have any noise in our recruiting department whatsoever. It was cool when you do your own evaluation, give your guys their own stars. That's cute and sounds fun and oppressor until you get waxed by Georgia and they're your rivals and on their way to the playoffs and possibly a national championship. That sounds cool in those standpoints, but like just gotta be a philosophy change, bro. It's too much laziness around this entire regime. And I don't want to just harp on firing people, but it's just too much laziness and complacent shit.
I mean, the difference in the two programs can be seen in the head coaches when they're asked about recruiting after the game. Matt Baker asked Dan Mullen if there was a talent gap. Dan said, "We won this year. They won last year. What do you think?" And Matt Baker goes, "Do you want me to answer that?" Which I thought was funny. And Dan was like, "You do what you got to do." And Matt answered it in his story after. Kirby Smart gets asked about it. And he goes into a rant about how you can't outcoach recruits. And he goes, and everyone thinks that we have a good defense and good defensive coaches. Kirby Smart being one of the defensive coaches, like we don't. We have good players. He said he said, I guess his full quote is, there's no coach out there that you can outcoach recruiting. No coaching is going to outcoach players. Anybody will tell you our defense is good because we have good players. Georgia has the number one class on Rivals. They have more 5 and 4 stars committed to them than Florida has total commitments. Dan Mullen, said, you got to do what you got to do. Last year we were able to win. This year we weren't. So that's what it is. Currently Georgia has the number one recruiting class this year. They were tops in 18, 19, and 2020. Florida in those years was 17, 8, 7, 11, and currently they're 35. So that's the difference. And I think I've said it before, this coaching staff has success with going and getting guys, for lack of a better way of putting it, that other people don't want. Not many people wanted Dak Prescott. Nobody wanted Nick Fitzgerald. They've had success. John Hevesy has with a bunch of offensive linemen that were either tweeners or too big or, didn't have great offers. And they've turned them into serviceable players. They've turned them into NFL players. And I think they believe, hey, we don't need to look at Rivals rankings. We don't need to look at the recruiting rankings because we've got our own rankings and we know better. Look at our track record. And to some extent, their track record says, yeah, they're right. Saturday it showed that, listen, stars might not be everything, but there's something to them.
Yeah. No, I think that, you guys have both, kind of belabored the point in a good way that, Florida has never, right? Dan Mullen has never treated recruiting as, the lifeblood of his program. And I thought that Neil Blackman, had a really good tweet. Let me see if I can pull it up here the other day that says, if you won't recruit and you won't shake up your staff and you think you can out scheme everybody, then you better out scheme everyone. And that's where Florida is under Dan Mullen. And I think that that's a perfect way to echo the sentiment of Gator Nation, that if you aren't going to recruit better than everybody else and you're going to be super loyal to your coaching staff and to your administrative help that you have, then you better every week come up with a game plan that's going to beat your opponents. And I mean, obviously that runs counter to what Kirby said about out scheming, players. But I don't think that, Dan Mullen and his staff have put the Gators in a position to out-scheme everyone. I think that there's been times that they've, certainly, won games that they shouldn't have. And I think that there's obviously a lot of games that they lost that they shouldn't have. But I don't see, this Gators team, or for the most part, under Dan Mullen's tenure, really schemed up to beat the talent that Dan Mullen, consistently talks about, and, argues of, how good of an offensive mind he is, or defensive mind for that matter, under Todd Grantham.
I think David Wunderlich, year two, wrote a story about it and said it on our podcast. It's really just you're putting so much on your shoulders, and erasing, if not making it smaller, or completely erasing your margin of error, and just when you don't have the talent to match up with the teams you're going up against, you have to out scheme everybody, like you just said. Good players will make, Kevin O'Sullivan has said it to me multiple times. They were calling the University of Florida pitching you for a while. And he's like, listen, we just have really great players, and you have to recruit. ABC, always be recruiting. Good players will make a average coach look great, and it'll make him a millionaire. And I think this staff just doesn't recruit as well as they need to, as well as you should at the University of Florida. They said all the right things about, having that logo on your chest, and it means something when you walk into somebody's, somebody's living room. Start showing it.
Yeah, and I want to give a quick shout out. G. Allen Taylor wrote an article in The Athletic that is just absolutely scathing, and it's not scathing from him. He interviews a bunch of coaches in the SEC and talks about.
That was Feldman.
Oh, was it Feldman?
Yeah, Bruce Feldman, yeah.
It looks like they wrote it together. Regardless, doesn't matter. If Feldman and G. Allen Taylor wrote an article that says, quite a bit. An SEC coach was quoted saying, Florida just doesn't play hard. Georgia's trying to rip your head off. They might be up 30-0, and their linebackers are flying up the field to get after your ass. Florida's a finesse team. Kentucky plays hard. You watch UF on tape. They got skill, but they're not physical. Again, something that we've talked a lot about. One SEC offensive coach said they play with zero discipline. Am I still breaking up?
Sound good to me.
All right. They play with zero discipline. One SEC offensive coach said they don't play hard. We're more physical than much better than them in the box. We were mauling them. There's a lot of, questions about Todd Grantham in here. There's a lot of questions about just the way that they play football. The number, the Gators have out yarded, if you will, outgained their opponents in every game this season, and they're 4-4. They have one of the worst special teams units in college football. They are ranked 96th in the country for penalties. They look undisciplined. They don't look coached well. And if you're going to rely on, hey, we're going to go find our guys, and you better be able to produce with your guys, or else that
you're just sneaking in every aspect of it all. Like you're sneaking, like, okay, say you're not the best recruiter, have a disciplined outfit. One of the things we applauded Savage for was like the strength and conditioning program. Like we should be bigger and stronger and faster than everybody if we training right, this is the standard. But they're saying every aspect, we don't look bigger, faster, and stronger. We're not disciplined. We're jumping off sides. We're coming in with the same hand clap, snap count thing. Like we're not smarter than anybody. We're not bigger than anybody. We're not out recruiting anybody.
Thing, like,
in every phase of all of this, I don't know where we'll lead at. And you just I don't care how smart you think you are. You're not going to out scheme all of that. There's too many variables for you to out scheme all of those variables. It's just not going to happen.
Yeah, I'm not gonna blame like Nick Savage when you're talking about bigger, stronger, faster. Like, listen, if you give me
a part about discipline comes from that program.
Yeah, but if you give me an unlimited budget and you give Gordon Ramsay give me an unlimited budget and you give Gordon Ramsay $10 to make beef Wellington, I have a shot at out cooking Gordon Ramsay. Nick Savage isn't out on the road recruiting. He just gets given ingredients and says, "Hey, make dinner for Saturday." I think
a lot of our plan with a lot of energy, that culture comes from the strength and conditioning program. Like guys, just I'm sorry, Dan was saying in that article where programs saying these guys don't want it. Like they're not flying around like Georgia's up 30. Them linebackers still flying around. That a lot of that comes from strength and conditioning. You could be a 3-star and still have a motor. And I'm just not seeing that, bro. Brenton Cox, like I wanted to drive to Jacksonville and get him a ride back to wherever he lived. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like there's a play where he just quit.
He wasn't, and he said he couldn't catch Stetson Bennett on the scout team. He couldn't catch him Saturday either.
Bro, he quit.
Yeah.
It's like, and that attitude is around the program a little bit. Like players quitting and not like trying to finish. I just want these guys to finish these last 4 games. All this play for each other. You know what I'm saying? They got to finish. They're just not finishing. That attitude does come from the strength and conditioning program.
And I think, you know, when you look at Urban Meyer and you look at, you know, their strength and conditioning program, I mean, they talked about, you know, 3 to 5 seconds of relentless effort, you know, to win a game. And that's what you need. You know, and there's nothing more that frustrated me. And I don't, you know, want to harp on kid, you know, but, you know, giving up, right? I mean, yeah, maybe you don't catch him, but the second Stetson Bennett turned upfield, he just stopped running, right? That to me is
that's not the first time this year,
right? And that's not just a Brenton Cox issue. I mean, you can, if you watch the game, you'll see it a lot. And I think that's a culture problem. I think that you have issues. I think you have bigger issues and a bigger thing to deal with other than just, you know, is it a Brenton Cox, you know, issue or is it a team issue? And my biggest fear is now is, you know, with very little to play for against teams that you should dominate, you know, will Florida get up for those games? You know, but, you know, there's a very, very, very scary situation where Florida can finish this season with 6 wins. I mean, outside of Samford, you should beat South Carolina. They're not very good. You should beat Missouri. They're not very good. And you should beat Florida State. They're not very good either. But there is a chance that Florida could lose 3 of those games. And if Florida goes 5-7, oh boy.
Oh no, he's fired. I don't see how he makes it to next year 5-7.
Yeah, he's making it to next year.
Not at 5-7. But
Yeah, he's making it to next year at 5-7, 100%. Dan Mullen will be the head coach. First of all, I don't see 5-7 happening, but
I don't either. I'm just saying.
No doubt.
Dan Mullen will be the head coach at Florida, even if they finish 5-7 in 2022.
I don't know, bro. It's getting wicked right now. Like that noise is getting a little loud.
Yeah, if you're getting articles from Bruce Feldman on The Athletic, I mean, the noise is just outside of the program, right? I mean, you could have argued last season when people were, you know, yelling and screaming about Todd Grantham. It's like, oh, you know, it's just the internet. It's just fad. It's COVID. You blame a lot of excuses. Earlier in this season, a loss to Kentucky, you know, you can blame on, you know, fans with unrealistic expectations and just being loud. You lose to LSU. Now you lose to Georgia. And it doesn't seem like it's just Florida's losing those games. It's that they're getting out-schemed, outmatched, and beat in all aspects of the game. It's not like a fluke thing's happening and Florida's losing. They're getting beat every game. That, you know, the noise gets louder, Nick. I don't know if the Gators did go 5-7, which I don't think is going to happen, if Dan Mullen would be the coach at Florida next year.
He will be. Dan Mullen will be outside of like.
We're not going to find out, but we're not going to go 5-7.
Outside,
I don't know, man. Because
Dan would need to get arrested. He would need to make up some death threats. Like he would have to go above and beyond off the field to get arrested.
Does Urban Meyer need an offensive coordinator? I'm just joking. Just kidding.
I mean, you guys did lose again.
That's not shocking. But I don't want to go. I can't keep talking about football. All my football teams on here on Dan. Even my high school team lost Friday.
Hey, brother, we got some room for you if you want to jump on the Aquinas bandwagon. They just keep winning football games. You can go watch a team that wins.
I won't do it, Nick. Sorry.
It's okay. The invitation is open.
I'm about to explain to my kids why I like cheer for a Broward High School team. Like,
yeah, absolutely.
No.
It's like, listen, kids. Yeah, I brought you into some losers. We're gonna bring you to a winner. We're gonna show you a winning culture.
I mean, who's gonna fire him? That's one of the reasons I do agree with Nick a little bit.
He's not getting fired. Like that's people keep saying it. Like maybe if Florida finishes 5-7 this year and has a bad 2022. Then maybe he's not the coach in 2023. Dan Mullen will be Florida's head coach in 2022 unless he completely implodes off the field. There's nothing that happens on the field this year that will get Dan Mullen fired. And I mean, he could get into a fist fight with Eli Drinkwitz on November 20th in Columbia. Maybe that would do it. So I guess I could find a way. But yeah, Dan Mullen's going to be the coach in 2022. There's going to have to be defensive changes. I think. Listen, when Todd Grantham's gone, like that's there's going to be multiple changes on defense because you don't bring in a defensive coordinator and have him coach with the guys who are there. So I think that, you'll see a shakeup, and I don't know who will remain on the team or who will leave. But you're going to see some changes, but it's not going to be a head coach. Sorry, Dan, go ahead.
Give me the pride of Fort Worth, Texas, Gary Patterson on my sideline next year, Nick.
I think Gary Patterson's probably like Dan Mullen and probably like a lot of football coaches. He doesn't like where college football is heading. I think Gary Patterson's mad that, Zach Evans is hitting the transfer portal and other teams can talk to his running back. I don't think a lot of these coaches like the power shift that's happening in college football with name, image, likeness, with the transfer portal.
Sir.
It used to be jump. Don't even ask me how high.
Dabo don't like it.
No.
You can tell it. Like Dan doesn't like it. A lot of these coaches don't like where this shit is going, but that's what it is.
It used to be jump and don't ask me how high. Know exactly how high I wanted you to jump and give me a half an inch higher than I wanted you to show me that you're fully committed to the program. And now, listen, Gervon Dexter might make more money this year. Anthony Richardson might make more money this year than Christian Robinson. You're going to get into a situation where it's like you're coaching in the pros in the sense that these guys are making more money than some of the coaches that they're coaching them.
And that's just
these guys don't like it.
And I'm sorry to hear that. I mean, as somebody that manages a pretty large team, like I have to deal with that every day, right? Like I've got my employees being reached out to by other companies wanting to hire them, and that's on me to make sure that they're have opportunity and that they're, enjoy the place that they work and the culture, right? And that they're winning, right? Like, I'm sorry if you don't like it that your players are being reached out to because you probably promised them something that you didn't deliver on. Well, welcome to the real world of what life is like outside of college football.
Talk, Daniel.
I mean, at the end of the day, it's something that every industry deals with, right? And if you want to keep people at your program, then you need to create a culture and an environment that keeps them there. And if you have a problem with the way college sports is going, then retire, I guess. Because you can't go into the real world. I'd say go into the real world, but it's even worse there, right? So
yeah, man, they had a sweet job of line of kids getting them on campus. Then they kind of stuck. Now, like Dan said, you gotta live up to some of those expectations you put on the trail. And like I don't like Anthony Richardson kind of put our staff in a situation. When he was asked about his future situation at quarterback and possibly a different school. So, like, that's what it is, man. And that forces a lot of coaches' hands. And like I said, I seen that news last night. That was crazy to me.
The kids used to be under, being held hostage. Once you sign the NIL, you sign over any kind of nice things the coaches said to you when you were a recruit. Now coaches are being held hostage. Like, listen, game has changed. Change with it. Or become extinct. And coaches don't like the power shift that's happening. And it's not just Dan. I think it's happening everywhere. So we'll see if Gary Patterson gets back into coaching.
You're right, Nick. I've changed my mind. I no longer want Gary Patterson as our defense coordinator.
Nick got his 3 letters mixed up. They signed LOIs, bro. Not NILs.
Hey, bro, I'm not a morning person. Y'all got me up early. I never got my coffee delivery. We're running a loose ship over
Nick,
here.
how much does a coffee delivery cost?
No, I asked the girlfriend to bring me coffee.
Oh, I get it.
It was an in-home delivery.
The only reason I asked, I'll never forget one time I looked it up for somebody to bring coffee to my office on Uber Eats, and I think it was $16.
Yeah, it's nonsense.
It's ridiculous. So, do you guys have any final thoughts on kind of the state of the program? I mean, again, we're rehashing, but also it's the middle of the season. They're not going to make changes now. Any other big picture topics that you guys want to talk about regarding the state of the program? Obviously, go ahead.
It's a bad year. It's a really bad year. Outside of recruiting, you have to get recruiting better. There's no way around that. But it's just a bad year on the football season.
Are we looking for a defensive coordinator right now? at this point, like I don't know why we're not firing and looking for like that change to get maybe some type of bump in recruiting, right? Get a fresh face in here now. We only got a few weeks before we start signing places.
So you make a good point, right? You have a bunch of defensive commits that are committed right now to a lame duck staff. I mean, it is truly lame duck. Like theoretically, Todd Grantham could get an extension, but right now he doesn't have one, and his job, ends at probably December 31 or whenever they decided early January. But National Signing Day is in the middle of December. I think it's right around December 12th, and that area. If you don't have a staff in place, do those kids even sign to play the University of Florida? Right? Because what if you bring in a completely different scheme and, that defensive tackle that you really liked, that works well in a 4-3, maybe you switch over to a 3-4, right? And now all of a sudden his interest in playing for you guys is no longer there. It's a huge question with that December, signing day looming.
Yeah, I don't see a reason to keep Todd if he's not coming back next year. I mean, you already paid that money. I mean, you already lost the game. You're out of the East.
Mm-hmm.
If that's the direction of the program is to bring in a new defensive side of the ball, start making hires and start making fires and making some change and show like this program needs some type of spark.
Yeah. I don't know. And we probably need to do another show in the not too distant future of folks that, that we would target. But, again, I put this out there a couple of weeks ago and I'll put it out now is I've never once seen Dan Mullen go after the hire that seemingly makes the most sense or go after the big name or splash hires when he was at Mississippi State. And I was texting with a writer that we've had on the show a few weeks ago. And he just said Dan Mullen has his guys, right? These are the people that he knows. So him going out there and bringing in somebody different is a complete change for him in terms of the way that he's done hiring before. Bringing in a new coach, defensive coordinator, bringing in a new staff is going to, bring in a lot of new coaches that Dan Mullen has never dealt with replacing that many coaches in a single season. So how does that gel together? And what does Dan Mullen do? Does he make the safe choice or does he make the, or does he let somebody go out there and get the big name, the up and comer? And it doesn't necessarily need to be, the most recognized coach because you follow college sports, but the guy that's going to take over the program and give him the piece.
What Kirby would do if the shoes on the other foot, go take somebody off our staff like he did before.
Yeah.
Go take somebody off Georgia's staff.
Mm-hmm.
Grow some nuts. Sorry.
Speaking of nuts, a little too early for the Manscaped read.
Yeah. My bad. I'm just saying that's what Kirby would do.
Yeah.
And I think they got a lot of talent on their defensive side of the ball. Go take somebody that's a rival. Help your team and also hurt your rival.
I like that. I'll come back next week with my my power rankings of Georgia's positional coaches.
Is that yeah, I think next week will be man, I was just sitting there thinking on the drive home from Jackson. I'm like, what do I even write this week? Like who cares about South Carolina? Anybody?
Not me.
Yeah. Muschamp going.
Yeah.
I don't even have that hate for him anymore.
No, Blue Muschamp ain't coming back to Gainesville. Yeah.
No, I'm talking about he's going from South Carolina.
Oh,
hey, money talks. You don't know if you're not coming back again.
Listen, no, Will Muschamp was probably the happiest person in Jacksonville. Happiest person in Jacksonville on Saturday night.
But because he was finally on the winning end of that game?
He won one time. He won the year he got fired.
Right. That's right, when they ran for like 491 million yards.
Yeah.
No, shout out to Will Muschamp, but money talks.
Dan Lanning, that's the guy that I want from Georgia's staff.
Isn't he their defensive coordinator, Nick?
Co-DC and outside linebackers.
I don't want to see Muschamp's pop belly on my sideline. Just clear that up. They got some young studs. And they got some people on that staff that we can go poach.
Yeah, and they have a guy in their recruiting department named David Cooper, I believe is his name. Oh, yeah, that's right, because he was on our staff 6 months ago.
Right.
So, all right, boys. Well, Nick, I know that you don't want to talk about it. We have to talk about it. Let's give a shout out to our friends over at Game Time Sidekicks. Visit GameTimeSidekicks.com. Use promo code STADIUM. Get some of the most premier vacuum sealed cups and stainless steel cups that you want for your team or for the sport that you follow, collegiate golf, NFL, lifestyle stuff, all of that, visit GameTimeSidekicks.com. Some of the best products that we have seen in our time doing this. So visit them, GameTimeSidekicks.com. Use promo code STADIUM for 10% off. All right, guys, Gators play South Carolina on Saturday. South Carolina enters the season as not very good. Just pulling up their stats right now. They have 4 wins on the season. They are 4-4, but their wins have been over Eastern Illinois, East Carolina, Troy, and Vanderbilt. They had a squeaker against Vanderbilt, 21-20. This is to Georgia, Kentucky, Tennessee, and Texas A&M. South Carolina is not very good. Their quarterback, that was their starting quarterback, for the season, is out. Their quarterback, Zeb Nolan, he had a torn meniscus, so he will not be able to play in this game. Long story short, South Carolina is a bad team. But Nick, give us your thoughts on South Carolina as we head into the game in Columbia on Saturday at 7:30 p.m.
Just looking at turnover margin stuff, Florida is 120th in the country. I think second to last, only behind Kentucky. But South Carolina has done a good job of taking away the football. They've gained 11 interceptions, picked up 6 fumbles, but they also give it away a lot. So they have a -1 turnover margin. That's going to be an issue because Florida, no matter what the quarterback is, who the quarterback is, has given the ball away. And other than like Rashad Torrance, I don't think, they're taking it away at a good clip. So that's an issue. Like, listen, Florida's offense has been good this year. Only 2020, they've had more, the only team to start with more yards than Florida's had in the first 8 games is that 2020 team, which we all know was prolific. So how do you lose games when you're moving the ball and scoring points? You do it by turning the ball over. So that's a game, I think, whenever you're looking at a team that you should beat, whether it's home or on the road, you need to go in there, protect the football, don't let them hang around. So this is a game that Florida should win. I didn't even look at the spread to see what the spread was, but you should win. You should
19 or something.
You should win. You should cover the spread, and that shouldn't even be a question. So, to me, it's Florida's got to find out, what are we made of? What are we doing? Monday to Friday to get ready, or do you quit? So to me, that's going to be, the big question is who shows up on Saturday. Who shows up Monday? I guess to be honest, who shows up today at practice? And it's on the coaching staff and on the players to not pack it in and show up in Columbia and put something on the field.
Yeah, I'm with Nick. I mean, the spread kind of indicates when we're a 19-point favorite on the road, it kind of shows like the talent level is not there. We should wax this team, but I got to see a football team that's dialed in and want to win. Still playing for the teammates and whatnot, and not let this team hang around and have some hope on a Saturday night in cold Missouri. And that's the thing. Just, if we dialed in, we should wax. This team just not a good football team. Like the last 4 or 5 games we got, I don't know who's going to get in the bowl game, but it's just not going to be a lot of good football teams. We're not going to learn a lot. But nonetheless, I want my guys to come out and still win these football games, play with some. And I still want to see Anthony Richardson be the quarterback as well. I want to see that be my guy. Got a lot of decisions to make in the quarterback room, seeing how that plays out. It's going to be quite the end of season. We didn't get into that bad. We can do that next week. But I think we waxed this team. It's just not a good football team. We can do the basics, running the ball, taking care of the ball, no turnovers on the road, and we should be fine. You muted, Dan.
Sorry, guys. South Carolina is really bad on the offensive line. If you thought that Florida struggled on the offensive line, take a look at a South Carolina game. They may be one of the worst in the SEC, maybe outside of Vanderbilt, especially when it comes to pass blocking. They are a team that allows a lot of hurries. They allow a lot of sacks. They allow the quarterback to be erratic throwing the ball. Their quarterback for the game, Luke Doughty, is 60% on the season. But if you look back on his stats, a lot of those yards came against Vanderbilt and Troy. Really struggled, 114 yards against Texas A&M, 217 yards against Tennessee. Just not very good at throwing the ball, but Florida's going to need to.
He's about to have a day Saturday night.
Yeah, he's going to need to.
Todd got him.
Yeah, Todd got him. But he's a guy that's just not built for, being able to really be a great passer for South Carolina. So it'll be interesting to see when we get into the game on Saturday. But they are an atrocious pass blocking team. Let me see if I can pull up what they allowed. They allowed, let's see, 5 pressures to Zeb Zoland and then Jason Brown. They allowed, 4 pressures. So they allowed 9 pressures on just 35 plays. So if the Gators, if Gervon Dexter and Zach Carter and the rest of the Gators can, get to the quarterback, then, I think that they're going to force, Zeb Noland to make some errant passes and not throw the ball. They didn't throw the ball very much against against Texas A&M downfield. They played Zeb Noland. He didn't have any passes beyond 20 yards. And then Jason Brown, the other quarterback that played, only had 2 passes beyond 20 yards. And they were both incompletion. So the Gators need to get after the quarterback, force either whoever quarterback is going to play in this game to beat them in the air. But South Carolina is bad. Silk, you said it, 19-point favorites for the Gators. Over-under is only 52.5, so they're expecting a low-scoring game where the Gators score a lot of points, and South Carolina doesn't score really much of any. Any final thoughts? I know not obviously a lot to talk about South Carolina. They're not very good.
Score predictions.
4-4 on the season. Nick, start with you, bud. Score prediction.
I'm going to go 42-15.
That's a lot. I don't know. So I'll jump in. I don't think that the Gators are going to score 42. Not because I think that South Carolina's got a good defense. I don't think that they're a team that can consistently put up those kind of numbers. I'm gonna go 31-12.
That's an odd score. That's a wild score with the 12.
It's 31-12. 4 field goals.
I'm going to go on the fringe of 40. Give me 38-17.
Okay. Who's your offensive MVP? Let's assume that Anthony Richardson is able to play because we don't know recording on Monday morning.
Anthony Richardson.
Yeah, I agree. This defense is lacking in a lot of talent. He'll be able to get open field and do a lot of wild things on a team like this. So I go AR if he's healthy. If he's not, just give me Damien Pierce just to keep it chill. I want to search for nobody else.
Yeah, no, I'm going to go with Damien Pierce. I hope that he earned the opportunity to get some more carries based on his game against Georgia. I know that that's not something that we ever expect under Dan Mullen for it to really make a ton of sense and give the guy more carries. But I'm going to go Damien Pierce as my offensive MVP in this game. What about defensive MVP? I'll go with Zach Carter. Just their pass blocking is atrocious. I think that he gets to the quarterback, and I'm going to have him down for 2.5 sacks in this game. Nick?
God, get Zach getting back on track for that sack total. I'll go Trey Dean. He's feeling himself. He was getting into it with Mahmoud on Saturday, but Trey Dean posting pictures of himself and celebrating the loss. So I'm gonna go Trey Dean.
What happened? I missed something.
I get you only get a couple opportunities, but I took losses pretty hard. I never posted pictures after we lose the game, but I see a lot of it.
I mean, you still got to advertise and post your brand. I get it. You know, it's a different era. Who did what? Who posted the pictures?
I'm pulling it up right now. What was his tweet? His tweet was, "They think they tough, nah, they bluff. Think they can get touched. Hashtag thank you God. Hashtag all glory to God. Hashtag watch God do work." And then there was 4 pictures from the Georgia game.
I'm confused. Is he saying that Georgia's not very good, or
I don't know.
Okay.
And what did Mahmoud say?
Oh, I don't know. I just Mahmoud, I was watching the sideline. Mahmoud was just getting after trading, and Crime Dog kind of had to like pull him apart. Looked like Mahmoud was just talking to him about something. Trading didn't agree or something. Just teammates. Stuff happens during a game. I don't think it was a big deal.
Nick spreading rumors of
somebody. Like, one thing about it is, like, when we had good football teams, guys like Brandon Spikes would get guys in order. Like, they would check teammates. So we do need players on our team like that to check guys, man. Like, to check egos, to check fake bravado, all of that stuff, man. So shout out to somebody trying to be a leader.
Yeah, I wasn't bringing it up like, oh, the team is divided, stuff like that. Like, that's stuff you need.
For sure.
Shout out to my guy Major Wright. He was on Outkick show,
bro.
He got a street, in Georgia.
Wait, who got a street?
Major Wright.
Why does Major Wright have a street in Georgia? Isn't he from Fort Lauderdale?
I think it was Georgia. No, he was not from Fort Lauderdale. They moved down to the area, I think, around high school.
That's my fault for not knowing his life history.
Yeah. I think his freshman year, he went to high school somewhere in like Pensacola area, somewhere up there. He came down because I played football my freshman year. Was a free safety.
Did you really, Nick? What position did you play?
Free safety.
Mace took your spot.
Oh.
I wouldn't say he took my spot. I would say
but he wouldn't say
the awareness of my baseball and football abilities became quickly apparent to myself, and I decided that I could watch Major Wright
career move
from the sideline on Friday, or I could tailgate and hang out with my friends and watch Major Wright from the stands on Friday.
Nick went to the cork board, right before the first meeting to see the depth chart. He didn't see his name listed on there. Had 6 safeties listed, and Nick's name wasn't there. He's like, you know what, Coach? I'm making a decision. You can't fire me. I quit.
Hey, I had a nice baseball career, and I didn't need to get my ass kicked Monday through Thursday or Sunday through Thursday, and then watch the same game. I just decided that I would have different seats for the football game.
Business decisions got to be made.
Yeah, so Major came in, and things became very apparent.
Nick, I'm not one to tell you that you're wrong, but Major Wright is from Lauderdale Lakes, Florida. So.
Okay, we'll have to get Mage on.
Yeah, we'll have to again. Yeah.
Anyway, so he was on the Outkick show, and he was
born
talking
in Lauderdale.
No.
Yep, Lauderdale Lakes.
Allegedly.
Nick, you're so wrong, man.
Nick just says stuff. So that's the thing is Nick just sells stuff. But if he says it with confidence and he's like, oh, he played a season in like Pensacola or something, I don't know.
Confidence is key. Confidence is key.
But being wrong is.
Anyway,
I thought Mage was really a South Florida boy, and he's from the Panhandle. Then
Major Wright was born in Kansas, Missouri, and came. Anyway, he's on Outkick, and he's talking about
Kansas, Missouri.
Yeah. I was
so why does he? So back to our original point. Why does he have a street in Georgia?
I don't know. Anyway. Back to my original. I wasn't even trying to bring up the street. I was trying to sit on this show.
In St. Simon's Island.
Nick told us like he was born in Pensacola and that he quit football because of Mage, but never told us why the street sign was in Georgia.
I think he was born in Germany.
Nick, are you here? I've got a question. Is it a road that's named after that Major Wright, or is there a different Major Wright?
I don't know, man.
Is there like an Army Major Wright?
I wasn't bringing up the road. I was trying to bring up what he said on a show. Silk brought up the road.
But you said You said he's from Georgia or Pensacola.
Bro,
I
I'm
think the
losing
internet's-
control of this podcast like Dan lost control of the game Saturday. We need a halftime. Can we have halftime?
my
I need to make
God.
adjustments.
Nobody has ever been so more wrong, bro. Like,
I need
This is
to make
incredible.
halftime adjustments. Come on.
All right, Nick. So he was on Outkick show with what? Clay Travis?
I don't think Clay was on at the time when Major was on, but he was talking about their practices and just, the guy asked him about practices. He was like, they would have to tell us to like stop. And he said, there was just a day where I'm a freshman. He's like, during Tebow's Heisman year, Mage was a freshman. And he was like, listen, as a freshman, I'm just trying to make, special teams. I'm just trying to get on the field. He goes, and when Brandon Spikes walks in and tells you, hey, it's going to be a day today, like we're getting after him, he goes, there's no other option. We're getting after it. And Major said, like, the coaches would have to tell them, on a Monday, Tuesday, or Wednesday, like, hey, chill out. So he just made the point that we went so hard in practice that, the games were the easy part. So I think that's, it reminded me of that when Silk brought up Brandon Spikes. It's just that you need to have those guys. Like Major's freshman year, he's like, Brandon Spikes says, hey, we're going to go kill those boys today in practice. And, it's already done.
I like that. So who do you have as the defensive MVP of this game?
Major Wright. He's got a
Major
year of
Wright.
eligibility left,
Yeah.
right? I mean, I'm just going to keep going with the lies.
Major
I said-
Wright out of Georgia. Yeah,
German-born Major Wright.
yeah, that's right.
I said Trey Dean. Trey Dean, my guy will lead in tackles.
the defensive line is mid. Give me Zach Carter. I mean, the offensive line of Missouri is mid. So give me Zach Carter. I think he's going to dominate. Do what he got to do.
It's South Carolina week, not Missouri.
Same thing. What I'm saying?
Different Columbia.
Different Columbia, same bad team.
Also, where
Okay,
Major
you
Wright
kinda-
was born, Columbia.
Yeah, I'm just going to I don't even know what my take's going to be every week. These last games are so terrible. You know,
we need to come up with some new content.
Yeah, don't worry. I'm going to get
Mike
creative.
White's
Like I said.
basketball
Yeah.
team has an exhibition tonight.
Yeah,
no.
basketball's back in 8 days. Regular
No.
season's back in 8 days.
No.
Let's not get carried away.
Oh, Nick, how did the baseball team do in their fall scrimmages?
Not great.
Okay, good.
Lost 8-5. Okay, good. Lost 8-5. Lot of negativity in
see
my
that.
mentions. I think the football frustration is bleeding over. I pray for Mike White as his team will be on SEC.
Who's in charge of
SEC
all of
Network
this?
Plus. Who's in
Right?
charge of what?
All of it.
We'll start with our Lord and Savior Jesus Christ. God, start praying. But like Florida's starting pitcher Hunter Barco, obviously in a scrimmage setting, you're gonna throw it a couple innings, maybe you're on a pitch count. He strikes out 4 of the first 6. Next guy comes in, Brandon Sproat, who's gonna be your Saturday starter. He needs to figure out how to throw strikes. Couldn't do it, so he gave up 5 in the second. So obviously it's a scrimmage situation. If it's a Friday night in March and you're playing Georgia, maybe Hunter Barco throws 7 scoreless, and you're looking at a whole different game. So already had people freaking out about baseball. It's first game isn't even until mid-February, so a lot of time.
I'm not going to tell them not to freak out because I told everybody to chill about scrimmage notes, and here we are.
You're not helping me here. My mentions,
I'm not here to help your mentions, bro.
my Twitter mentions have been a war zone since the LSU game.
I can see that.
Absolute war zone. Like for mental health reasons, we are not reading replies. Might just start mute, like tweet, mute.
Do you mute a lot of your controversial stuff? Yeah.
No, I don't. It's just like it's just.
It don't even be
Not trying to
controversial.
brag, like, it just
be
comes-
actuality.
It just comes through like too quickly for me to even read all of it, to be honest with you. And I don't get notification unless I follow you or it's from a verified account. I don't get like push notifications to like my phone. So I'm about to unfollow Dan.
Nick's flexing on everybody. He's like, unless
No,
it's
it's
from a
just-
verified
it's just
account,
too much.
I don't even look at your tweets.
Unless you got a blue check, I ain't reading it.
I can see it. All right. Well, let's.
That's when I really don't read it when he got a blue check. Like, this guy has no idea what he's talking about. He got a blue check.
Oh, man. All right.
Awesome.
So do you want to get into the I can't come up with any prize pick things this week. I mean, it is what it is. The Gators should win. They should get some turnovers, some yards, all that kind of stuff. So we'll skip those this week. So Silk, why don't you get us into the Manscaped ad read, and then we'll
tell us about that shampoo.
Nick, start thinking about your song of the week.
Tell us about that shampoo you got.
Shout out to Manscaped, the best of the best when it comes to grooming. Be sure to visit manscaped.com. Use coupon code SG at checkout. I need to talk to somebody. Customer service, the VP of marketing.
The VP of marketing.
Somebody, CFO.
It's the CFO, yeah.
I seen a package from Manscaped. I said, oh, snap, I probably got the Lawnmower 5.0. Who knows? So we open this box to a surprise. And here's the surprise I got. Surprise! Shampoo and conditioning. Shampoo and conditioner. As you can see, if you have us on YouTube, I have a bald head. So I'm assuming you shampoo and condition your pubic hairs before you manscape them with the Lawnmower 4.0.
Called shampubes.
Shampubes.
Hey.
Yo, that is so childish and funny. Shout out to the shampubes. I have to grow my pubes back out just to shampoo them because there's nothing else I could do with this shampoo and conditioner in one.
But it seems counterintuitive to have the Lawnmower 4.0 and pubic hair, right?
Right. That's contradictory though. I can't use this on my pubes if I'm cutting it off, right? Or do I scape it with a nice flat top?
Ooh, yeah, nice flat top. Pause.
Just line it up.
I don't need to know. So you live your life.
Hey, just give it to
Fresh
Harlem.
edge.
I don't know.
A crisp mohawk in the edge is what Harlem has. I can do that. Body wash is new to my lineup. Shout out to Manscaped for shooting us the body wash. I'm gonna try this out tonight. I haven't given it a run. Have you given it a run, Dan?
Yet, no. My package didn't arrive until yesterday when I'd already left Tampa.
Intense, clean formula from the good folks at Manscaped. Activate your lifestyle. Shave them balls. Coupon code SG at checkout for 20% off. What we got?
All right, Nick. Song of the week.
Song of the week. This will be a new one. I probably won't get my jingle props, which I was on a streak from Silk. But we're going with Jordan Davis featuring Luke Bryant, Buy Dirt.
Yeah, I don't know that one.
Little country tune. Buy Dirt. 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 Buy Dirt.
Oh, I thought Dirt was on it. I was like, yo.
Buy Dirt, Jordan Davis.
Might be a jingle with Dirt on it.
Buy Dirt?
Buy Dirt. You haven't heard that one, Dan? It's a little bro country for your taste.
Yeah,
very Nashville.
Yeah, no, I can see that. Buy Dirt by Jordan Davis.
Educate me. What's bro country?
Poppy, like poppy country.
Yeah,
lots of trucks and girls and bikinis and that kind of stuff.
Country. My buddy down in he works for Texags. He said that I would be a big Florida Georgia Line fan. He is.
I can see that.
He's from Texas. Lives in College Station, where there are real life cowboys, as I learned last year.
They drive horses everywhere.
It's an agritech. What's that word? Agritechtural.
Agricultural.
That one. There you go.
Oh my god. That was crazy.
Agritechtural.
I don't know where you was taking. I thought it was agriculture plus tech, some new shit I ain't know about.
Corey Bender pays me real American dollars to write words, and I came up with
Agritechtural.
That's definitely the name of the show. That's the name of the show.
Remember Silk a few weeks ago when we talked about Nick being a baboon and showing his ass to everybody?
Right.
He's back.
That's not a good show for me. This has not been a good show.
Agritechtural. Like, that's crazy. I thought it was some outlet. I need to go Google this.
Don't. It won't come up. Don't Google it.
Oh my gosh. He said, what word?
Oh yeah. So they're in agritectural school. Yeah. Lots of farming out there.
That's incredible. That's nuts. That is a nuts word that he just created. So right in front of our eyes.
Day after Halloween, not doing well.
Man,
November 1st, man. Fall is definitely feeling beautiful, man. Same corner, same time next week.
Same quarter, same time, boys. We'll see you.
Hopefully, I'll be better.
We'll see you at the next agritectural convention.
Can't even repeat it.
It's a new industry.
Yeah. All right, boys. Same corner, same time next week.